Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will review what we learned in week 8. So actually in week 7, we were introduced to equations and we solved one-step equations. These equations here are multi-step equations because we need lots of steps to solve them. So we learned also in week 7 that to solve an equation means come up with a solution. A solution to an equation is a number that I can substitute for the pronumeral, usually x, to make this a true statement. So in week 8, we went through 2 methods of solving equations. So I'm going to start by solving this equation using the flowchart method. So the idea behind the flowchart method is you tell the story of what happened to x. So in this equation, x was multiplied by 3 and then 2 was added. So that's what the 3x means, 3 times x. X was multiplied by 3, got an answer, then we added 2. And we somehow ended up at minus 10. So to solve this equation, we're going to start at minus 10 and we're going to do the opposite. So instead of adding 2, I subtract 2, and instead of timesing by 3, I divide 3, because subtraction is the opposite of addition and division the opposite of multiplication. So all I need to do now is get minus 10 subtract 2 is minus 12, and then minus 12 divided by 3 is minus 4. Remember, a negative divided positive is a negative. So I've just solved the equation. The solution is x equals minus 4. If I substitute x for minus 4 into this equation, I get a true statement. So this equation over here is actually a 3-step equation, but we're going to solve it the same way. I'm going to use the flowchart method and tell the story of what happened to x. So I've started with x on top. Now what I've actually done is add 4 first and then divide by 9. It's really important you get the order of operations correct when solving equations, otherwise you'll get the wrong answer. So we didn't divide by 9 first, we added 4, then divided by 9, then we subtracted 3, and we ended up somehow with an answer of 1. So when I'm solving the equation, I'm going to start at 1. Instead of subtracting 3, I'm going to add 3. Instead of dividing by 9, I'm going to multiply by 9. Instead of adding 4, I'm going to subtract 4. So now I'm just going to start at 1 and follow the path. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 times 9 is 36, and 36 minus 4 gives 32. So the answer here, the solution to the equation, is x equals 32. If I substitute x for 32 into this equation here, I get a true statement because 32 plus 4 divided by 9 minus 3 is equal to 1. Now let's solve each of these using the balance method. So in the balance method, we see each side of the equation sort of like scales. They're balanced because they're equal. What you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. So for example, if I was going to add 1 to this side of the equation, I need to add 1 to this side in order to keep it balanced. So when we're using the balance method, we're still going to undo everything that's been done to x, but we undo things in the opposite order to BIDMAS. It's like when you get dressed or undressed. It's a cold day. So you might put on your jumper and then you put a jacket on top. But when you get undressed, you need to take off your jacket first and then your jumper. So the thing that you put on last, which was the jacket, needs to come off first. And that's the same when we're solving this equation here. The thing that was done last needs to be undone first. So for 3x plus 2, we multiplied by 3 and added 2. Adding 2 was the last thing we did. So what we're going to do, we'll start with our equation and we will subtract 2 from both sides. We're undoing adding 2 by subtracting 2. So then on the left-hand side, of course, 2 and minus 2 cancel out. I'm left with 3x equals minus 10 minus 2 is negative 12. So now I've got 3 times x. Well, the way that I'm going to undo timesing by 3 is dividing this side by 3. But if I divide that side by 3, I have to divide the left-hand side by 3. So 3x divided by 3 is just x, because times 3 divide 3 cancel out, and minus 12 divided 3 is minus 4. So I got the same answer using both methods. You can pick which method you like. So let's try this one here using the balance method. So again, we've taken x, added 4, divided 9, and subtracted 3. Subtracting 3 is the last thing that we did, so it's the first thing we undo. So the way I undo subtracting 3 is by adding 3 to both sides. So if I add 3 to one side, I must do that to the other. Of course, adding 3 and subtracting 3 undo each other. So on the left-hand side, I've just got x plus 4 over 9 is equal to 4. So now I've got x left, I've added 4, then divided by 9. So dividing 9 is now the last thing that was done, so the first thing I need to undo. So the way you undo dividing 9 is by timesing each side by 9. So when you're multiplying this fraction over here by 9, you just cross out the denominator, the thing on the bottom, because times 9 and divide 9 undo each other. So I'm left with x plus 4 equals 4 times 9, which is 36. And then the way I'm going to undo adding 4 is I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Plus 4 minus 4 undo each other, and I'm left with x is equal to 32. So it's really important the order in which you're undoing things. It's the opposite order to BIDMAS, because if you undo things in the wrong order, you will get the wrong answer. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.